All right, what is this? Watch as a handful of protesters chase U.S. Democratic Representative AOC at a movie theater in Brooklyn, New York this evening. The protesters claim she refused to acknowledge the genocide. Okay, well, let's not spoil, huh?
You refused to call it a genocide in front of everyone.
I need you to understand that this is not okay.
It's not okay that there's a genocide happening. You're not actively against it.
You're lying.
I'm lying?
You're not.
You went on TV and avoided talking about it.
For what? Because now you can't say it's a genocide or what? You're attacking the political race. You can't call it a genocide and how do you say it? We're not lying. No.
You know, one thing that I do like about AOC is that she, despite being relatively measured, she actually doesn't have the skills for that, like, detached, perfectly neutral, you know, like disengaged, politically efficacious, like don't engage or whatever. She acts pretty human pretty often, which I like. You know, it's kind of endearing, I guess. You know, I certainly prefer it to people who are so measured and distant that they come across like they don't actually give a shit or care or whatever.
You've been saying it in interviews. It's insane. You haven't been calling it a genocide. Don't tell me I'm lying. Then just say it's a genocide. Just say it. Over 30,000 people are dead, AOC. You can't just say it for once?
Okay, AOC has done and said a lot of stuff that I disagree with, but there are very obvious reasons why using the term genocide would be extremely bad politically in an environment where Rashida Tlaib got censured for saying what she did. What matters, of course, is like pushing against stuff that Israel says and does and trying to work to like move the general position in favor of support for the Palestinian people. But the use of the term this is just another practicality thing or whatever. If the only outcome of her using the term genocide would be to like make herself a target for a bunch of ridicule and denunciation in a way that doesn't actually move anyone over to the left, then like what was the point, right? Virtue signaling. That's it. The problem that I have with the protester here is that they basically just seem to take issue with the use of the term genocide specifically, as opposed to any like actual action or ability to move people over or whatever. You know what I mean? It's also the reason why a left-leaning person would go after AOC, because there's more clout to be had in demonstrating that you're more left-leaning than the left-leaning politician, right? Like, you could go after literally any American politician. Go after Fetterman. Like, there are people way worse than AOC, including basically everybody besides AOC, but we're much harder on people who are already to the left because we see them as more viable targets. It's very much like the left eats its own tendency. That's one of the reasons we have a lot of trouble building dual power. I'm not saying it's bad to criticize AOC. It's fine. I've done it on this stream multiple times. I still think she's like one of the best politicians we have, but she's definitely better than like almost every other one. I like Ilhan Omar more, but again, like, you know, still, yeah. It's just dumb. It's stupid.
Just say the word. That's it. That's all we want you to say.
See, like, look, what's really the point here? Just say the word. Why? Like, what? Like, you're not even. This isn't being done for the benefit of the Palestinian people. This is being done because, like, the obsession over specific terminology is something that this protester like ascribes great meaning to. You know, this is It's like protest lawyering. You know, it doesn't mean anything. Meanwhile, here's Fetterman. Well, no, nobody would go after Fetterman for behaving this way. DSA endorses uncommitted Biden protest. Oh no, anyway. Yeah, Fetterman has been a ghoul about all of this. But why go after Fetterman? As we've seen from people on the left over and over and over again, going after actually bad people is hard and difficult, whereas tearing down other people on the left is a lot easier, so.
Or you're not angry about people confronting the public when you can't call genocide all over 30,000 people have died.
Stop. Okay? Stop. Stop.
We're not doing anything. We're just talking to an elected public.
I have the feeling these kind of people don't care about nuance. They just want Twitter purity. They don't. No. People who do stuff like this don't actually do organizing work. They have their, like, walled off, hyper insular leftist communities where they get clout with one another for doing stuff like this. And again, I'm not saying there's anything necessarily bad with like holding AOC to account or holding her to a better standard or whatever. I just like from the perspective of like pragmatism, I genuinely cannot fathom what would motivate a person to think, okay, I'm going to go after an American politician for not being pro-Palestinian enough. which one am I going to go after? And then you choose AOC. It act like I genuinely don't get it. I have seen so many people try to explain it to me with this like, oh, well, we have to hold people on the left to account. You have to hold everyone to account. What do you mean? Why do people on the left have to get held to a higher moral standard? Doesn't everyone get held to the same moral standard? Is the implication that like the anti-Palestinian behavior from the significantly greater anti-Palestinian behavior from like every other US rep is more morally acceptable because they're not in the left? I don't think they would say that. So then why would we hold AOC to a higher standard? Wouldn't it just be better to like be pro-Palestinian in the most effective way, like in a way that leads to the greatest possible outcome with regards to moving people over, changing their minds or whatever? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I've tried to get it. So many people subscribe to this way of thinking, and I just don't get it. I personally, I think it's for clout, you know? It's one of those, like, the purpose of a system is the outcome of the system kind of deals, and the outcome of behavior like this never seems to be any kind of material improvement for anyone's life, and always seems to be a bunch of Twitter clout circle jerking. Like, I have to assume the purpose of stuff like this is the outcome that it has, and the outcome is very consistent. To be clear, AOC is one of the top 5 best people in Congress on Palestinian issues. Oh, to be sure. I mean, I'm not reading all this. It's nice of you to give it to me. But no, to be sure. There she is. Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush, Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Nice. Ah, but she's only in 4th place. Here is Fetterman claiming that people dying in the Flower Massacre was due to a stampede. This is significantly more disgusting than anything AOC has done or not done. Yeah, but again, they don't, like, subscribe to that thinking. I'll always take the word of our ally over a group of cowards that hide in tunnels behind civilians and hold children, women, and elderly hostage since October 7th. Israeli military review of Gaza aid convoy deaths finds most killed in stampede. And meanwhile, we literally have, like, hospitals saying that the dead and wounded all have bullet holes in them. Again, the point of doing stuff like this isn't to actually, like, go after bad people or change anything. You know, it's just, like, whatever.
That's all we're doing. That's it.
Cut it, and you're going to cut this, and you're going to clip this.
AOC's right. Also, nice jacket. I like that. Probably vegan leather, which, you know, I don't like typically. Fits good, though.
Cut it, and you're going to cut this, and you're going to clip this so that it's completely out of context.
Has AOC been watching my streams right there?
I already said that it was, and y'all are just going to pretend that it wasn't over and over again. It's
Yeah, hold on. Has AOC never used the term genocide? So AOC is claiming that she said, God, look at this. These clout-hungry sharks. Look, these so-called left-leaning protesters who are going after AOC, notice how, like, the top results here, New York Post, Fox News, New York Magazine, like, it's right-wingers, because right-wingers love to see evidence of left-wingers tearing at each other. Like, it always benefits them, because this pointless, like, circle-jerky bullshit doesn't actually accomplish anything, so they don't fear it. Has she ever actually used the term genocide? She has not. She's condemned it severely. Never explicitly. AOC hedged and said it was something reasonable people were saying or similar recently. I think that counts, man. That's as much as you can get away with. No point to this. Here we go. AOC tiptoes around calling Israel's military action genocide despite accusing Biden admin of backing war crimes. Okay, says that the Biden administration's backing war crimes. I continue without supporting you. Thank you. Gross violations of human rights likened to war crimes. Some of your colleagues have accused the president of supporting genocide, including Rashida Tlaib. Do you agree with that word genocide and the president's been supporting a genocide, or does that go too far? I think what we're seeing right now throughout the country is that young people are appalled at the violence and indiscriminate loss of life. They're still determining whether or not it's genocide. Do you think that term is responsible given it's still under investigation? I believe that they are, but they're still determining it. But in the interim ruling, the fact that they said there's a responsibility to prevent it, the fact that this word is even in play, the fact that this word is even in our discourse demonstrates the mass inhumanity the Gaza. Dude, this is literally her saying it's a genocide in politically acceptable language. She just doesn't want to kick up another media storm getting censured. She's literally being asked, like, hey, do you think it's a genocide? And she's like, oh, I mean, who knows? But a lot of reasonable people are saying it. And that word gets bandied around so much. And, you know, maybe the fact the word's getting used that much is an indication we should take it seriously. And there's a real big problem going on. Like, holy shit, man. How, like, at this point, going after her for not literally just saying the word is, like, totally pointless virtue signaling. Like, there's no actual, like, there's no purpose to any of this. It's just being done for Twitter clout. Despite the questionable use of the word genocide, AOC cited polling in which, quote, large amounts of Americans are concerned about that word as a reasonable justification to permit such rhetoric. I don't think that it, using the word genocide, is something to completely toss someone out of our public discourse for using, she added before concluding. Like, Jesus. What you're watching has a big Freedom News watermark. That is true. The clip that we are watching here is literally freedomnews.tv. Like, in a call with a constituent in November, they called it a genocide, and she agreed with them without using the word herself. Really?
Other way around that. We're funding a genocide, and I'm not okay with that.
Nods.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I completely understand your concern. And in fact, one of the things that I've been raising continually is the nature of U.S. aid to Israel and how unique it has been, and the way that
Nods, yeah, plays off the question, completely integrate. Like, come on, man. Jesus.
Man, and you're not helping these people, and you're not helping them.
Yep, that's true. Look at this dorky-looking motherfucker.
You're not helping them.
I feel like she's trapped due to any support she can get cut off if she says genocide. Do you know if she's backed by APAC? I don't think AOC is backed by APAC. And it's not about losing, like, money or support like that. It's about, like, you are literally not doing any more good just by blurting out the word genocide and inviting a bunch of political condemnation and scrutiny in a way that doesn't add anything. Like, this obsession with language is so... the obsession with, like, specific terminology, like what you actually do, what effects you have in the political environment, none of those mean anything, okay? What matters is that you say the soy word, okay? I don't think it's soy to say that Israel's doing genocide, but it's soy as chase around one of the best people on the issue and then go, oh, well, you haven't specifically said the word. You've hinted at it 58 times, and you're doing everything that a person who believes it's a genocide would do in your situation. But, like, you haven't said the word soy. Like, yeah, APAC is trying to oust AOC. And, you know, those dipshit protesters who are following her around are allies of APAC in this respect, because there is no difference functionally between tearing down other people on the left because they're not passing your arbitrary purity testing and, like, you know, assisting APAC in ousting left-leaning candidates to replace with, you know, Zionist ghouls. That's it. Like, there's no difference, you know? It's because people are stupid. Well, there's a lot of issues. Do you think what AOC does is a form of dog whistling? No. Her position is incredibly clear. She's not, like, dancing around the topic because she's trying to hide what she believes. She's just not using the specific word because politics is really stupid, and AOC can say 57 reasonable things, but if she says the word genocide during those things, even if it doesn't change the meaning of her statements, it leads to a different outcome and reaction. She's not dog whistling her position at all. It's pretty clear. Could this be a GOP psyop? Nope, you don't need to do a psyop to make leftists attack other leftists. We do that ourselves. Is there any information on the protesters themselves? It's not okay that there's a genocide happening and you're not actively against it, the man replies. You're lying. She's not against it? I'm trying to find any kind of, like, information on the people who are following her around. From the Times of Israel, citing freedomnews.tv, which must have been the source of the video. Man, what great activism, what great work these people are doing, that they've provided, like, meaningless, stupid clickbait fodder for a bunch of far-right and like, Zionists, but I repeat myself, rags to fawn over, because they love, like, anything that mildly inconveniences AOC. That's so great. I love that. Love that for them. None of these articles even describe anything apart from the contents of the video. Like, they just say what's happening in the video. There's not anything more. The quote-unquote news org pinned that harassing AOC on their Twitter is their top post. Oh, I'm sure they're very happy about it. The fact that they had their, like, stamp on it also kind of suggests that they were the first ones to get that footage. Oh, hello, SDL. The common trend in the people in the replies seems to be that it's either right-wing people who hate AOC, left-wing people who hate AOC for not meeting their purity test, or liberals who are, like, Zionists and therefore just like seeing her get harassed. I don't know, man. It's pretty grim. Pretty bad out there. Do you think there's any real chance APAC could oust AOC or no? AOC is pretty popular in her district. That'd be tough. Like, that'd be really tough. Do you have any advice for voter apathy when somebody says that they're in a red or blue state? Well, yeah, like, not voting and getting complacent is how states get sort of, like, shifted to the right or stay in the right when they could otherwise move to the left. There's just never really any benefit to abstaining. Of course, in primary processes for the presidency right now with the Dems, I support voting, you know, undecided or whatever, because Like, there has to be some kind of indication to the Democrats. There has to be some kind of indication that what's happening right now isn't acceptable.